SEPTA maintains and operates nearly 300 miles of commuter rail, over 300 miles of light rail. We have about 30 miles of electric trolley bus, over 20 miles of heavy rail system. All our substations, all our switches are controlled remotely from a central control point, our command center.
On this floor, SEPTA is in communication with all the vehicles that it operates.
Here, our operators can open a breaker on a remote location, a substation that's located 40 miles from here. The information on our PA systems comes from here. Switches can be operated from here. Train dispatchers can throw a switch to make a train switch tracks as necessary. They can route a train through the system using our control center here.
We're one of the few transit properties in the nation that runs the magnitude of service.
We have over 2,700 vehicles that we put out on the street every day, and we have all the operators that get on those vehicles. So there is a lot of work that are done by every single district, by every single maintenance shop, by a lot of departments to put people, engineers, operators on a vehicle, and that vehicle to be reliable.
Our job is to make sure that the service is maintained on an on-time performance, make sure that the people know that they need to go to a different stop if there's going to be a detour, provide safe, accurate, on-time service for the public.
My job is to keep the service going, no matter what happens, whether adverse weather, storms, a fatality, which is extremely unfortunate. My job is to actually keep trains moving, to keep some type of service going on the affected lines.
We are the only property in the United States that has all the different modes of transportation.
We run bus service, subway service, light rail trolley, both trolley on street traffic, trolley on dedicated right-of-way, and we have an extensive commuter rail operation. All those groups are housed here in the control center. It is an integrated process with all the modes working under one report.
Every day we transport approximately 500,000 people. We have 1,180 buses on the street during what would be considered rush hour time.
Before the passage of the bill, we were talking about the drastic downsizing of our rail network within a 10-year time frame if we did not have adequate funds to replace our vehicles and address our infrastructure. So Act 89 gave us a future. We can rebuild ourselves. All over the system, we're trying to bring our facilities and infrastructure to a state of good repair.
Our biggest accomplishments have been the retiring of 40-year-old rail cars. That we purchased 120 new Silverliner 5 vehicles, which really enhanced the improvement of our regional rail fleet.
A lot of the improvements are improvements that customers don't see. Whether it's work on a bridge, you go over the bridge, you won't necessarily see the work at the bridge.
The challenge was to keep the system operation, keeping these 40-year-old rail fleets going, the 30-year-old trolley cars, and at the same time implementing positive train control. And keeping the system safe. So I think that was a big challenge.
The general manager says he has his sights on the future for better service for customers, and Action News reporter Eva Pilgrim has that story.
The new SEPTA boss has been on the job 9 days, and he's already got big plans for the future.
I love to build things, and this is just a really great time.
And engineer Jeffrey Kneppel is making sure SEPTA can keep moving.
See the mess. That piece of rust is ready to come down. I got to make sure people get that.
Thanks to a major change to Pennsylvania's transportation funding law, SEPTA is finally able to afford to fix some long-standing issues. Here at the 15th Street station, jacks are holding up the platform.
It's safe right now, and we want to stop having to check those supports that we put under there.
Kneppel is pushing forward with a rebuilding program for the entire system. SEPTA is fixing some things you can't see, as well as things you can, like updating the stations and getting new and bigger trains, trolleys, and buses to make room for the growing number of people using public transportation.
For the first time, we're actually looking at double-decker trains on the railroad.
That is still about 3 years away, but some changes are right around the corner.
In the future, they'll be able to tap and go.
One card will soon be your ticket to ride on any SEPTA vehicle. SEPTA is testing the technology with plans to phase it in by the end of the year, start of the new year.
It'll function very much like Easy Pass, You can go online and load money into it, or you can just have it regularly put money into your account.
Another much requested addition, SEPTA will add devices to show you on screens and right on your phone real-time information about when your ride will arrive.
We can only catch our bus location every 3 minutes based on the kind of antiquated system we have. Going forward, we'll update that every 30 seconds.
The goal is really simple, to make sure everyone gets where they need to go. In Center City, Eva Pilgrim, Channel 6, Action News.
Today, SEPTA riders will get a sneak peek at an improvement project planned for the 15th Street station. This is what SEPTA has in store for the Center City station. The project will make the 15th Street station safer with new lighting and more user-friendly for riders, especially those who have disabilities. The renovations will begin in December of 2015.
Information about 18 new engines on order for SEPTA. Here's a look at what they are getting. Our first look at the new electric locomotives, all decked out in the SEPTA paint scheme. The new engines make up the transit agency's biggest railroad acquisition in a decade. The locomotives will replace several older engines operating on various regional rail lines. The new SEPTA engines will be the same type as the ones Amtrak already uses along the Northeast Corridor. They have a maximum speed of 125 miles per hour, and audio and video recording systems are installed. The first of these engines went into service for Amtrak last year.
My name is Andrew Gillespie. I'm the Chief Engineering Officer of Power for SEPTA. So we're standing at the Wayne Junction substation. This is the traction power substation that was built by the Reading Railroad in 1930. This substation has been in continuous operation since its initial construction, and it is still the heart of SEPTA's northern regional rail system. All the power that we supply to the railroad system goes through this substation. It affects nearly 17,000 riders a day. What I'm standing in front of is a feeder breaker, and as you can see, there's a whole line of breakers behind us. These breakers distribute power to all the different lines. It's a protection system so that if something should happen, a tree falls on a wire, a very small piece of the system may lose power temporarily till we can clear the tree without affecting the entire system. Everything works in conjunction together to maintain the reliability. There's a bit of redundancy built into the substation, so if one unit is to open, there's the ability to transfer load to another circuit to restore service. Our whole operating philosophy is to return service as quickly as possible and then go back and make repairs and put things back to normal. Well, as the substation aged, the first problem we had is some of the manufacturers of this equipment went out of business. Additionally, the age of the system, they're mechanical devices, so they wear down after time. We have been very diligent about maintaining this equipment, and I think we've done a pretty good job considering it's been 80 years and it's still in service. But eventually everything needs to be replaced. And some of these parts now, besides not being repairable, are just not fixable. They've worn to a point where it's no longer feasible to repair the parts. Well, SEPTA just recently was awarded a TIGR grant for $12.8 million to help overhaul this substation. Our intention is to take the substation as a whole and just overhaul it instead of rebuilding it and replacing it completely. So that grant will go a long way to help us repair all these breakers. We're going to restore these buildings. The steelwork that you see will be stripped and repainted. Certain parts of the system will be upgraded to modern standards. More efficient, better performing equipment will be installed, bringing this up to modern standards and technology.
Who we are and where we're going. When SEPTA was created in 1964, our job was to take the assets of bankrupt private companies and shape them into a vital public transit network managed by a single authority with a single focus on meeting the travel needs of our region. Half a century later, our system is a blend of legacy and modern stations, vehicles, infrastructure. We are the largest system in the Commonwealth and among the top 10 largest in the nation. We're proud of our history, but we've learned the lessons from the past. We realize that in order to be effective, we must adopt a business approach to the delivery of transit services. We've tightened our emissions controls and expanded our recycling program to better sustain our environment while preserving the system. We've grown new ridership markets and furthered our outreach. But our hard work can only go so far without the adequate funding resources or stakeholder support. With the passage of Act 89 funding legislation, we begin a new chapter. We can build on what we've already started by catching up on the backlog of critical replacement projects, such as the bridges you travel across, the vehicles you ride, and the substations that power our system. The strategic business plan for fiscal years 2015 through 2019 is our commitment to our customers in the region. It's our blueprint for the future.